the difference between being self-motivated and being self-disciplined, because it felt better to make an excuse than holding myself accountable. Good morning, guys. My name is Kayla. If you don't know me, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have an acting class in 20 minutes, and this is actually my last class for this workshop, so my last class working with this coach, which is kind of a bittersweet moment, but I'm just trying to enjoy it while it lasts. For those of you who don't know, I am currently attending an American accents or an American dialect class. I did have a British dialect class with the same coach in the past, so I decided to do American as well. Last night, I did a lot of homework for this class, which I've stated in my last vlog that I actually really enjoy that this coach provides homework because it gets me a little bit more invested in working harder. Still haven't completely finished one of the things I'm doing. As you can see, I've only written a little bit in the beginning. This is kind of a monologue that we're going to perform at the end of the class. So yeah, I'm currently just setting up my area, logging into the Zoom, making sure everything's running smoothly. Finding the link to the Zoom would probably be a good start. So yeah, I'm just gonna go finish off reading through my monologue because this is the biggest thing that we're going to perform, I guess, today. And then I will check in with you in a bit.
So this is our workshop ended. Do you have any quick questions? All right, my loves, have a great Sunday and a great future, all of you. It's been a pleasure. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
And we are done. Okay, so yeah, the class is over and it was really, really good, to be honest. Honestly, I didn't think that American accents were going to be as distinctive as people were making it out to be, but it's actually, at least personally for me, extremely difficult to get the hang of. It's extremely subtle and you only realize that it's American if you do classes like this. Like from now on, I'm sure I'm gonna look at films and TV shows extremely differently now that I know what kind of sounds to look for. But yeah, just getting my mouth position right and my tongue and everything, because that's literally the whole essence of speaking is with the mouth and tongue. Just the placement of them and just being familiar. Wow, that's a huge wasp. You're not welcome here. That's not okay. I just stopped speaking halfway through my thought because I'm an idiot. I saw a wasp outside my sister's window and I stopped speaking. Like, that's how distracted I can get. Like, are you kidding? Let me continue my thought. The whole point of dialect is how you position your mouth and your tongue. That's literally how voice comes out, you know? The way that American dialect versus Canadian dialect is in the mouth and tongue is very, very different. So obviously as a Canadian, I am very comfortable with the way my mouth and tongue is positioned. So learning these different dialects kind of challenges your comfort because you have to not only think about how distinct the dialect will be depending on where your tongue sits on your mouth. You have to do it authentically and you have to do it without almost thinking about it. And that in itself is the challenge for me, and that's what I was trying to get across, but of course I get distracted by a wasp. Let's just continue with the vlog. I'm not sure if I'm making this its own video or not, or just adding it to some existing footage, but hi, how are you? So I kind of wanted to make this video because I've been in a really weird mindset these last couple of weeks, maybe close to a month now. And I don't know, maybe someone will relate to what I'm saying, and it's just something that's been on my mind, I guess. Honestly, I haven't thought about what I'm going to say in depth, so this might be kind of chaotic, so bear with me. So for those of you who don't know, I am an actress based in Canada. I just started my acting journey not too long ago, and I have been documenting my whole progress on my YouTube channel under the series called Realistic Acting Diaries. And this series that I made was for the sole purpose of being realistic in terms of showing all the bits, all the good, all the bad. And I want to talk about losing drive, losing motivation, and having to kind of learn about self-discipline. I feel like social media paints this picture of everyone who's going after their dreams are all of a sudden so self-motivated and so driven to do what they love, and that they're like that 24/7, when that's really, really not the case. Personally, I'm in love with acting, and I have been for quite some time, and I've always been so excited to pursue it. And although I am so happy to be finally pursuing it myself and actually putting in the work, it does not mean that I'm going to be that driven and that motivated all the time, because lately I haven't been, and I don't feel like I have been that honest with myself. Long story short, I had a really important and potentially career altering thing that would have happened a month ago, but because I wasn't as driven with my own kind of personal reasons, which I'll get to in a minute, but it ended up not falling through because of my actions. Well, I guess my lack of actions. We're not going to be that motivated and that driven 24/7, and that does not mean that we're not passionate about what we're doing. It just means we're human, and humans are going to have days where we're not going to feel like doing anything. And I feel like we have to start normalizing that. I've had a lot of time to sit down and think about this, and the only reason I actually wanted to film this and even came to the realization was because of my best friend. And honestly, if it wasn't for her, I probably would have still found this out and held myself accountable later on, but she kind of slapped me in the face earlier, which I'm very grateful for. You know, she sent me this whole message pretty much saying like, hey, I'm being honest, you're not doing what you should have been doing. You are so much more capable of way more, and for some reason you keep making excuses, and you gotta fix up, pretty much. It honestly made a difference. It got me up, and I ended up doing what I needed to do the following day. And that is something I realized is so important. The difference between being self-motivated and being self-disciplined. Self-discipline is so much more important than motivation. We're not going to be motivated all the time, and that's just what it is. That's just how it is. Motivation is so minor compared to discipline. You know, some days you're not going to want to get up and do something that you need to do for your career, and that's when you have to sit yourself down and go, hey, this is what's going to elevate you in your career, and you need to do that for yourself and for your future self, so get up and do it right now. And that's what I did the next day. And I'm not gonna lie, it was tough because I had my own self-doubts. I had my own, I don't know, I felt like I was making excuses for myself that weren't actually there, and that in return was just self-sabotaging myself. And I was just making excuses for myself because it felt better to make an excuse than holding myself accountable. And I'm done with that. It got myself thinking about everything else that I've been kind of put on pause. Even with my YouTube, it's been very difficult for me to consistently make content every week along with my TikTok, which I have been making videos on. I always felt this shame and this guilt for, you know, missing an upload week, or, you know, on TikTok you have to post every day or else it's not going to get views, so like missing a couple days always made me feel so guilty, and in return I didn't want to keep making it. I kept delaying my next upload, and that wasn't serving any good for anybody. And it was just this constant cycle, this constant loop of not doing it because I just didn't feel like it that day, feeling guilty about it, and then not doing it again, and it was just this repeat, this loop. And in return it was making me feel even worse on myself, because I was like, why am I not doing that? Why am I delaying these posts when so and so and so and so are at this point in their career? I was just comparing myself too critically, and I needed to stop. And that's exactly what social media does to us. We always compare ourselves to these idealistic expectations that are just not true and not real. And it took me a long time to come to that conclusion and to realize that, you know, what I was doing wasn't bad. It's not bad to miss an upload week. It's not bad to not feel like doing something. I'm not always going to have 100% motivation all the time, and that's when I have to discipline myself. But there's a difference between not having motivation and just not feeling it that day, and having to get a rest day. Entirely different concepts that I'm still trying to figure out myself, but it's a work in progress, I guess. That kind of sounds like it's contradicting one another, but I hope that I've given a clear distinction of they're very, very different, but very important to understand both. And all in all, rest days are also really important. So you should never do something just because you feel you need to do it. I'm very big on that. I want to make sure that I'm making content not only to help other people, but also for myself, post so that it feels genuine to me and it doesn't feel like a chore, it doesn't feel like a job. And that mindset wasn't being prioritized because I kept feeling guilty for just being a human being. And I wanted to be honest about that, because going forward with everything in terms of my career and even on YouTube, I'm not going to do it just for the sake of doing it. I want it to always be genuine and authentic to me. I want to be open and be free and do things that make me happy and do it on my own time, but also learn how to discipline myself to do things when I know it's in my best interest. I love acting, I love YouTube, I love editing, I love all the things, but I'm not always going to feel like doing it, and that's okay. But some days I gotta suck it up and do it because that's life. I hope that made sense. That seems really chaotic in my mind now thinking about it, and me editing this is probably like, what am I doing? Just know that you shouldn't feel bad for feeling this way, because every single person on this planet feels this way at one point or another. I guess it's just important to find something that even on days that you don't feel like doing it, you still are so in love with it. In the end of the day, you can't get to where you want to be if you stay put. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my very chaotic and disorganized rant, which seems to be a theme on this channel. But yeah, if you enjoy this video, if you enjoy the honesty, I hope you can check out my YouTube channel because there's a lot more of that on my series, and I will see you on my next upload. Thank you for watching. Bye.